Hello everyone, it's Jamie here. Now, before we get into the actual episode, apologies, I've got a request to make. All of us at the Smart 7 are really excited. Over the past week, we've been nominated for 4 different awards, which is just a huge, massive achievement for all of us. But one of them needs your help. We've been nominated for a Signal Award. We are up against some absolutely terrifying competition. Would you do me a favour? Would you just go to thesmart7.com? That will redirect you to the voting page. It'll take literally 1 minute of your day and could make the world of difference to us here. Thanks very much.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
New activation and upfront payment for 3-month plan required. Taxes and fees extra. Additional restrictions apply. See mintmobile.com for full terms.
The U.S. Border Patrol has exciting and rewarding career opportunities with the nation's largest law enforcement organization. Earn great pay with outstanding federal benefits and up to $20,000 in recruitment incentives. Learn more online at cbp.gov/career/USBP.
7 things you don't really need to know, but probably should. I'm Kira Revan, and this is the Sunday 7.
On this week's episode, we discover who won the 2023 Nobel Prizes and why. We hear about a French bedbug drama. Well, Guyatt goes back to the metaverse, and if you have $3 million, there's a pretty cool Japanese robot you might like. But first, on this day in 1906, a German hairstylist, Karl Ludwig Nessler, first demonstrated the permanent wave for hair in his Oxford Street salon. The process took over 5 hours and involved the hair being soaked in alkaline solution and rolled around metal rods, which were then heat treated. It proved to be quite expensive and complicated, so when World War I broke out, he relocated to the US and opened salons in New York, Florida and Chicago. This week has seen the annual awarding of the Nobel Prizes for Science, Literature and Peace. The prizes were announced across the week, with medicine on Monday, chemistry on Tuesday and physics on Wednesday. Thursday saw the Literature Prize announced and the Nobel Peace Prize was awarded on Friday. The Nobel winner for economics will be announced on Monday morning. We're focusing on the scientific awards with medicine first. The Medicine Prize went to Hungarian scientist Katalin Kaiko and her US colleague Drew Weissman for their work on mRNA vaccines. They first met in 1998 and spent years working on a way to develop so-called messenger RNA technology, which are designed to stop the immune system overriding a lab-made vaccine. Their work proved crucial when the pandemic hit, allowing a rapid response vaccine to be created to tackle COVID-19. They were congratulated by the Director General of the World Health Organization.
Today is a great day for health, a great day for science, and a great day for vaccines. I offer my warmest congratulations to Dr. Katalin Kariko and Dr. Drew Weissman, who today won the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine for their work in developing the technology that led to mRNA vaccines against COVID-19. As they have for so many other diseases, safe and effective vaccines against COVID-19 played a vital role in bringing the pandemic under control.
The Physics Prize was awarded to Pierre Agostini, Ferenc Krausz and Anne Lehoulier for their work in creating ultra-short pulses of light that can give a snapshot of changes within atoms, potentially leading to better detection of disease. The prize-awarding Academy said their studies had given humanity new tools for exploring the movement of electrons inside atoms and molecules, a phenomenon that was long thought impossible to trace. Professor Ferenc Krausz was delighted and surprised by the award.
Es ist eigentlich am Ende dann doch ein sehr schönes Gefühl zu sehen, dass
in the end, it is actually a very nice feeling to see that it was all worthwhile, not to get discouraged after the setbacks, but to continue on the path undeterred. And that is perhaps the most important lesson for me. And that is also what I would like to pass on to the next generations. That if you believe in something and are convinced that this is the goal, the right thing to do, and that the questions you have asked yourself and would like to answer are the right questions, to then go on unwaveringly, to believe in it and not be discouraged by setbacks.
The Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences has decided to award the 2023 Nobel Prize in Chemistry in equal shares to Monje Bavendi, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, USA, Louise Brus, Columbia University, USA, and Alexei Yekimov, Nanocrystals Technology Incorporated, USA, for the discovery and synthesis of quantum dots.
They were rewarded for the discovery of tiny clusters of atoms known as quantum dots, which have added colour of nanotechnology. They're now widely used today to create colours in flat screens, LED lamps and even in devices that help surgeons see blood vessels and tumours. The dots are so small that they're the same size compared to a football as a football is to planet Earth. Professor Brus was pleased to win the award but wanted to recognise all of his colleagues who've been working in this area.
It's a great honour and it's recognition for the field. It's recognition, that I have worked very hard on this subject for a long time, but at the same time, there are many scientists all over the world who have worked very hard on their subjects for their lifetime. And so I'm just lucky, I guess is the right word, that the Nobel Prize is chosen to honor this particular area of science at this time,
France is currently in the middle of the Rugby World Cup and is getting ready for next year's Olympics. But there's a great big tiny problem that's causing full-on panic across the nation. Bed bugs. There's been a continuous stream of stories in the media about the little mites, but it may all be slightly overstated. The BBC's Paris correspondent Hugh Schofield had some words of reassurance for those already feeling itchy.
This happens every year. I've observed these little flare-ups of concern going back, years. And often at this time, after the summer, when people are coming back from holidays, because it's the movement of people that really encourages it, what's happened is two things. One, there is a general proliferation and a greater number of them around, not just in Paris, but all over the world, in fact. And the other thing is, of course, social media. And that has really fired this up into a mega story. And that in turn is creating a kind of sense of panic. And, a lot of the calls that are going to pest control companies now are from people who think they've got them but don't have them. So, you've got this it's ratcheting up, it's becoming a phenomenon, and now the government's worried because it's all over the British papers and our foreigners going to come next year, and it's really getting out of control.
The natural predator for the bedbug, and this may not delight you, is the cockroach. Unfortunately, as we have less cockroaches, we find ourselves with more bedbugs. And while bedbugs are a menace, they don't really pose any long-term threat to physical health. It's more the idea of them that upsets people. Parasitologist and medical entomologist Mohand Arezki Izri says that bedbugs are not even a sign of poor hygiene, but that may not reassure you either.
The first reports of bedbug infestations are coming from the big hotels, the palaces, the 5-star hotels, where there are certainly no hygiene problems, that's for sure. It's the people who have travelled and brought back bedbugs and then left them in the hotels. So, you can do the same thing. You can be very clean and still bring bedbugs home.
Still to come on the Sunday 7, more discoveries from the James Webb Telescope, and the UK has a plastic bottle problem. The James Webb Telescope has been a game changer for observers of space. Its high-quality optics have already led to a series of fascinating discoveries as scientists are able to look further out into space than they ever have before. Astrophysicist Professor Richard Ellis, who was involved with the design of the telescope, says the project is already exceeding expectations. He explained what the latest observations may mean.
It's been known for quite a while that there are what we call free-floating planets in stellar nurseries where stars are very close to each other. The orbit of one planet can be perturbed by the adjacent star, and occasionally these planets, which are normally found orbiting stars, get shot out of that particular solar system. What's puzzling about the recent discovery is they seem to be shot out in pairs. This is a new twist to the story. If you think about shooting two things out at once, you'd imagine as they go further away from where they started, they would diverge. But for some reason, they keep together in pairs. So there must be some sort of viscous drag or something that's keeping them together.
A new report this week commissioned for Good Morning Britain has revealed that the UK is facing a much bigger problem with plastics than was previously known. The government is focusing on reducing single-use plastics, but the GMB research shows that 1 billion additional plastic bottles will be sold by UK retailers over the next 5 years. That means by 2028, the UK will be producing 14.5 billion plastic. That's enough to stretch around the planet 73 times. And plastic bottles aren't included in the new single-use plastic rules. Rob Stevenson is co-founder of waste collection charity beach guardians, and he thinks the government's focus is wrong.
We find less of the items that have been banned, so the plastic stirrers and the balloon sticks, we don't find that many of on our beach cleans. But what we do find is hundreds of individual pieces of plastic bottles that are broken down through being littered in the environment.
The government is planning to incentivise the recycling of plastic bottles, but producing them also creates a carbon footprint. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has moved to slow progress towards net zero, but Policy Manager for City to Sea Steve Hynd says it's not the right move as the climate crisis accelerates.
You can't tackle the climate crisis without tackling the plastic crisis. And so, along with all of the other really disappointing announcements that we heard from the Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, we were also disappointed to hear more delays around recycling reforms as well, because this is a really crucial part of tackling the climate crisis and addressing our addiction to single-use plastics.
Still to come on the Sunday 7, Will Guyatt heads back to the metaverse, and there's a pretty cool robot you might like.
Right after this.
This message is brought to you by Maker's Mark. Hi, I'm Michelle Norris, host of the brand new podcast, Your Mama's Kitchen. I'm so excited to partner with Maker's Mark because just like our show, Makers believes in celebrating the people who have inspired us to pursue our passions. And now, thanks to the Maker's Mark personalized label program, you can create a custom label to celebrate those special loved ones with their own unique Maker's Mark label. And best of all, the label program is free. Go to makersmarkpersonalized.com to order your personalized label today. You must be 21 or older. Labels currently available for 750 milliliter bottles only. Bottle must be purchased separately. Maker's Mark makes their bourbon carefully, so please enjoy it that way. Maker's Mark Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, 45% alcohol by volume. Copyright 2023 Maker's Mark Distillery Incorporated, Loretto, Kentucky.
Ready to pop the question? The jewelers at BlueNile.com have got sparkle down to a science with beautiful lab-grown diamonds worthy of your most brilliant moments. Their lab-grown diamonds are independently graded and guaranteed identical to natural diamonds, and they're ready to ship to your door. Go to BlueNile.com and use promo code LISTEN to get $50 off your purchase of $500 or more. That's code LISTEN at BlueNile.com for $50 off. BlueNile.com, code LISTEN.
Welcome back.
Every week we catch up with the Smart 7's tech guru Will Guyatt and ask him to run an eye across what's happening in the tech world. So Will, poor old Mark Zuckerberg has been trying to make the metaverse happen for some time now. Is he finally ready to give up?
I don't think he's ready to give up. He's actually been really quiet for a while because they've been ridiculed about it before. But in the last few days, there's been a couple of podcasts that he's appeared on from within the metaverse. And it's gone from being this awful cartoon thing where his avatar had no legs to an actually quite exceptional uncanny valley version of Mark Zuckerberg, a facial avatar which looks like him. So he's pushing for it again. He wants it to work. And the other crazy thing is he is suggesting that they'll be able to bring people back from the dead in the metaverse soon. I don't think I'm a fan of that.
Do you think the new improved version will get any more traction?
It's really tricky, right? Zuckerberg bet the house on it, and for a while many of us were saying we're not interested in it. But the technology is improving, so it's less likely you're going to want to vomit in 10 or 15 minutes. And I think they're also now improving the software. The idea is that people aren't just going to want to hang around in this and everybody is going to suddenly start wanting to wear headsets. So they're starting to look at software and kind of versions of this that could work. Now, Apple has done the same for Vision Pro, and people seem to like the look of that headset, even though it's $3,000. So, yeah, there's something to be done here if Mark Zuckerberg can make a cheap version of the metaverse or cheaper than Apple's attempts.
There was bad news for high-end Apple fans this week. Is that right?
Yeah, this is a bonkers story, right? You spent $17,000 back in 2015 on getting yourself the then launching Apple Watch in gold. They did a 24-karat gold version at that point. Turns out now that Apple has said this week you can no longer get support for that watch, and it no longer effectively works. So that 17-gram watch, which is less than 10 years old, completely junk, sat in the back of the drawer now.
This week saw Rishi announce a proposed new rolling smoking ban that will lift the age at which you can buy cigarettes each year until eventually they will be no longer for sale. It's very similar to a law introduced in New Zealand, but questions remain about what happens to smokers. Some will give up, but many may switch to vaping instead. And it's still too early to be clear about what the long-term health risks from vaping are. Professor Calum Semple, who is a consultant in Paediatric Respiratory Medicine, is particularly concerned about the impact vaping may have on children.
There's been a very unfortunate public health message saying that they're 95% safer than cigarettes. But for a child, that's saying, don't play with a chainsaw, play with some sharp knives instead. It's just a nuts message for children. The other problem is that, okay, we had all had the sneaky cigarette when we were 16. You would get a cigarette, you'd have it and put it out. But with the vapes, you're continually grazing, so the hit from the nicotine is continual. It's not just a sort of one or two off episode. The vape allows kids to graze on the nicotine continuously, and that's bad.
Researchers at Manchester's Metropolitan University have just launched a long-term study into the effects of vaping, which will look at the impact on the body's cardiovascular system over the next 18 months. Study suggests that the number of children experimenting with vaping is growing at a rapid pace, and Professor Sir Chris Whitty, the government's chief medical officer, says that steps are about to be taken to crack down on it.
Over the next few weeks, there will be a consultation launched very shortly to ask, right, how do we get the right balance between making vapes available for smokers to move on to because it's safer for smokers, but absolutely not to be attractive to children because it is completely unacceptable for doing that.
Christmas is coming, and you're probably wondering what the perfect gift for the science and technology lover in your life is. Something from Apple, something from the metaverse. What about a 15-foot tall robot from Japan? It's got a cockpit so you can hop in and control it, and it's basically like an Iron Man suit without the flying. It's called Artax, and the Japanese company that came up with it plans to make 5 of them and sell them for a bargain price of about $3 million each. Ryo Yoshida is the CEO of Tsubame Industries, and he's very excited about his creation.
Basically, you can get in and pilot it. It has 26 joints and can be controlled from inside the cockpit. The initial reason for creating it was that I wanted to make a new vehicle. In addition, Japan is really strong in the animation, games, and robot industries, as well as in automobiles, so I thought it would be great if I could create a product that compressed all of these elements into one that says, "This is Japan."
This has been the Sunday 7. Wherever you're listening, do us a favour and hit the follow button. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. with the regular Smart 7. Have a great rest of your weekend. Written, produced and published by Daft Doris.
Ah, the satisfying sounds of more sales in your business. And from the sound of it, your business is growing. But you shouldn't have to pay more to scale your business. With Stamps.com, you can import orders from wherever you sell online, find the lowest rates with the fastest delivery times, and instantly deliver tracking updates to your customers and stock up on supplies. Get started at Stamps.com today with code PROGRAM for a 4-week trial, free postage, and a digital scale.
The United States Border Patrol has exciting and rewarding career opportunities with the nation's largest law enforcement organization. Border Patrol agents enjoy great pay, outstanding federal benefits, and up to $20,000 in recruitment incentives for newly appointed agents. If you are looking for a way to serve something greater than yourself, consider the United States Border Patrol. Learn more online at cbp.gov/careers/USBP. That's cbp.gov/careers/USBP.